Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another Wild Rift guide. And in today's guide, I'm gonna explain to you guys exactly how to play Mordekaiser. Let me tell you, there is so much behind his kit that a lot of you guys are not gonna know. Like for example, flash ulting can be viable, and you may be wondering, what the hell am I just doing? But all of this is going to be explained in the video. However, I have a quick message to you guys that could be life-changing for you, so roll it. It only takes a couple of weeks to transform your life. Don't believe me? Here's what I did in 8 weeks. At PlayervsFitness, we're going to give you fully personalized coaching that is going to be very easy to follow to get you towards your goals and beyond. The reason I'm saying and beyond is because I never thought I could ever look like this. This transformation took 5 months, by the way. I mean, I love doing this now. So it's not just me. Many people have joined before. And here you can see they have all gotten tremendous results joining the PlayervsFitness program, and you can be next. We're launching a special 8-week challenge at a temporary discounted price, and whoever is able to get the best results within these 8 weeks is gonna win an additional 8 weeks of coaching for free. All you have to do to enter is just fill in the form below. We're gonna reach out to you to book a meeting and absolutely transform your life. You have until the 6th of September to apply. Alright, on to the video. I did proper research for this video because Mordekaiser has a lot to him, and let's get started. So first things first, Mordekaiser is an AP champion. You're going to be building AP on him. His main damage is going to be, you've guessed it, AP. So let's talk about his passive first. His passive makes him a late game champion. Mordekaiser is a late game champion. He's not going to be good early game. So he passively gains magic penetration. Level 1 is going to be 1%. Every time you level up, it's going to be more up until 7%, which is significant. Your basic attacks do 40% bonus magic damage. I want to say this is really not a lot. So like as you can see, it's really not a lot of basic attack damage, you know, compared to what his abilities can do and what his other passive can do, which I'm going to get into right now. So when Mordekaiser gets a takedown, or his basic abilities, or attacks hit an enemy champion or large monster, he gains 1 stack of darkness rise for 5 seconds. So let's talk about this. This is going to be the most important thing to understand. So boom, basic attack, as you can see, below his HP bar, for 5 seconds you're going to get this yellow bar, and then it goes away. So you get it with a basic attack, you get it with an ability hit, and when you take down an enemy or a minion or something. So what does this do? When you get the full stacks, you can see you get this little field around you that does a lot of damage. So as you can see, you get this field around you, and every time you hit another basic attack or another ability, it fully resets the timer of the field. So essentially, once you've gotten this field during a team fight, you're gonna be able to get it always, and you can see yourself how much damage it's doing. You can see it yourself. It is chunking down these dummies. And the reason that it is because the negative energy field deals magic damage equal to 103. This is with Conqueror. It's going to go down in like 3 seconds. Yeah, there we go. So it actually already does a decent amount of damage, but this is the main part. Plus 5% of the target's max health. Again, only in the late game. Early game, it's not that much. Per second. 5% per second. That's crazy. As the base stat, that's crazy. Like, that's a huge amount. So you don't even need to build Rabadon's death cap and whatnot. You just need to have some AP with good effects, which I'm going to talk about during the build section, and just do your thing. Be giga tanky. And it also grants him 9% movement speed for 5 seconds. And the takedowns, basic abilities, or attacks against enemy champions or large monsters refresh the negative energy field's duration every time. So also jungle camps, for example. So as you can see, I can stack it up on a jungle camp. Let's say I want to stack it up on a jungle camp before entering a fight. Boom, there we go. Let's say I'm in my jungle, I want to maintain the stacks. I quickly attack a jungle camp, and then boom, I enter the fight with the field already. And I immediately start doing all the damage. So this is a major part of the kit, and you really need to know how to play around this. Make sure you maintain that negative field. So next up, first ability. Very nice and simple. Smashes the ground with Nightfall to deal a certain amount of magic damage, and it's increased by 60% when the ability hits only one enemy. So let's see what that means. Boom. That's 344 damage, and boom. You can see it does significantly more damage when you hit a single enemy. Very important part. Interestingly, by the way, it says bonus AD ratio, but it's supposed to be AP ratio. I don't know what Riot is smoking, but basically whenever you upgrade this ability, it's gonna skill better with your AP. Talking about upgrading your abilities, you want to max your crit. You want to max your first ability first, always. Then you want to max your third ability. And of course, every time put a point in your ultimate whenever you can. And then lastly, put points in your shield, in your second ability. Talking about the shield, which is the second ability, this one is a little bit more complicated and I have a lot to say about it. First, I'm going to give you a basic explanation of what it does, and later I'll give you some absolute integral tips and tricks on how to use this ability properly. You don't want to miss out the later part of this video. Very, very important. So, passive. He stores, I'm going to put my finger here to make it easier for you guys to read. He stores 35% of the damage he deals and 7% of the damage he takes from enemy champions. Again, I'm not sure why it's not written down here. It's from enemy champions. Against non-champions, he stores 25% of the damage dealt and take it instead. Just so you know, it doesn't work against turrets. You don't store anything against turrets, so be careful with that. So what does this tell me? You want to hit enemy jungle camps, enemy minions, enemy whatnots, stack up the shield and use it. So active, you gain the stored damage as a shield for 4 seconds. Recasting Indestructible, which is the name of this ability, restores a percentage of the remaining shield as health. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. I'm gonna take some damage here, just to show you what the restoring looks like. Very, very tanky, so it's gonna take a little while to take a good portion of damage. Okay, so I use the shield. Boom. I can tank damage with this shield. And now the remaining amount, boom. I actually, so I forgot to, no, I didn't forget. I was too late to click it, which I wanted to get into a little later. But I'm just going to quickly get the shield again for you guys to show what it does. Because this shield is massive. As you can see, it's going to shield me for, like, how much is it? For, like, it's just a ridiculous amount. So I can shield myself. And before the duration, if I click on it again, it heals me up. And the thing is, you want to be in time. Because look, if you don't click at all, it doesn't heal you at all. So it's really important that right before the shield goes away, that you click on it and you heal up. You want to make sure, as you can see, the shield stacks up very quickly with the passive, by the way. So as you can see, boom, boom, I can heal up a lot. I'll give you tips and tricks on the shield later on. Very, very important part. Third ability, very easy too. Pulls enemies towards him, doing a certain amount of magic damage and slowing them by 30% for 1 second. So as you can see, boom, just like that. Boom. You can actually also use it to, if an enemy is chasing you and he's like on top of you, you can use it to push them away, like that. So like if an enemy is chasing you, he's behind me, I can just use this ability, and then when he walks into it, you see what I mean? Like when he walks into it like this, it pushes him all the way back. Doesn't matter if you pull an enemy from here, or from here, it always pulls them the same distance, which makes it a really good ability, like an anti-engaging ability, I suppose you could say. And something else to know as well, you cannot push enemies over walls. On PC League you can do it, but on Wild Rift I kept trying and I wasn't able to do it. Okay, so your ultimate, this is where the fun part is, and I'm gonna take a sip of water because I have a lot to say about this. So, okay. He banishes an enemy champion into the death realm with him for 7 seconds. This is the all-famous ultimate of Mordekaiser. So let's see what it actually does. When you banish an enemy, you steal 8% of the target's core stats. That includes AP, physical damage, attack speed, armor, magic resist, and maximum HP. See, now it gets interesting because a champion like Veigar can have like 2000 AP. You're gonna steal 8% of his AP when you pick him up. Why is this interesting? Because if Mordekaiser takes down the target, he keeps the stolen stats until the target respawns. Now imagine taking away like 8% of Veigar's AP or 8% of Jin's AD, even though he doesn't skill very well with AD. Imagine if he takes away all of the AP and health that a Swain will have in the late game. He's gonna get giga buffed later on, right? Like when he gets that. So if he doesn't kill that enemy, the stolen stats are returned once the ability ends. And stolen as in like you're gonna take it from the enemy. So you're not only taking it, you're reducing the enemy's stats as well. So like you're making the enemy weaker by ulting them. That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this. So now let's give you the tips and tricks. I got a lot of them over here. So I just have to check this hitbox real quick. Oh my god, it's true in Wild Rift as well? Wait. The hitbox is like slightly... Yeah, it is! Look! Oh my god! It's true, look at this. This is not supposed to be able to hit him. But you can, the hitbox is... The actual hitbox is larger. So this should miss. Yeah, okay, this one misses. But like, look, this is supposed to miss as well, but it hits. So your first ability, you can actually hit enemies from further than it actually shows you. So it works in Wild Rift as well. Very, very interesting. So about flash combos, yes, it works. First ability flash combo is definitely something that works. Third ability flash combo does not work, as you can see. The way you'd want to do this, you want to flash and immediately use your third ability. So like flash and immediate third ability. That's how you would want to do it. So let me give you a little cool piece of advice as well. I'm gonna turn on Fog of War, sorry. You can see there's an enemy here. But you can also tell two different ways. With your first ability, gives you like a sound effect when you hit an enemy. If you listen carefully, miss. You hear that? Gives you a sound effect. Just like that. Your third ability, on the other hand, full on gives you vision. So your first ability doesn't actually give you vision. So when you use it over the wall like this, it doesn't give you vision. But your third ability gives you full vision of whatever you're trying to get vision of, which of course can be extremely important. You can work on jungle camps as well. I already told you about using your third ability in the opposite direction to push enemies away. Let me turn this back on. So let me read over here. Okay, now let's talk about the combos. You can use your third ability and first ability at the same time. So this works. And so this works, but obviously it's a lot easier on dummies than on an enemy. Let's say you miss your third ability, you're gonna miss your first ability as well. So a bit more of a reliable combo would be to pull them in, basic attack, and then first ability. Like, I know this is faster. Don't get me wrong. This is obviously, you know, this is extremely fast. But if you miss, it's wasted. So it's a lot better. Third ability, basic attack, and then first ability. I just cancelled my basic attack. There we go, just like that. I cancelled it again, but like basically, yeah, there we go. It's a little bit like you have to get used to it with your fingers, but you can get a free basic attack. And then again, it's not as fast as this, but now you understand why using a basic attack in between can actually be better, even though it's a little bit slower, just to make sure you hit the enemy. So basic combo that he does is pulling an enemy in with your third ability, basic attack, first ability, second ability, basic attack. This is like a basic combo that he does. The reason I'm saying basic is because you pull an enemy, basic attack, first ability, and then that enemy may attack you, but then you're immediately gonna get a pretty big shield. Because when you do this little combo, pull in, basic attack, first ability, you can already shield from like 50% of the damage taken. And because your passive will give you a lot of damage dealt. The reason that this is very good as like a basic combo is because you can win short trades with this combo pretty easily. So short trade and run away. Okay? Now when we talk about a fully fledged team fight, okay? It's a little different. And let me tell you why it's a little different. Your second ability has a 5.3 second cooldown. Obviously in the beginning of the team fight, you know, I'm gonna enter the fight with a full shield, right? Like if I enter the fight, I'm gonna enter like this. I'm gonna, you know, you can enter and shield immediately. I'm not telling you not to, okay? You can do this. But now let's say, let's talk about this scenario. You're at like 30% HP, okay? And the enemy ADC is chasing you down. He wants to kill you. So, are you gonna use your shield at 30% HP? Or are you gonna wait for that ADC to get you even lower? Get that ADC to flash into you, to chase you down even further, and then shield? And then your team can kill that ADC. Let me give you another scenario where using your shield when you're lower HP can be very smart. There is a particular item in the game where you pretty much always want to shield at low HP. Test your knowledge. If an enemy has this item, then I should shield when I'm low HP. Which item am I talking about? Test your knowledge, put it in the comments. Also, while you're doing that, give the video a like. I put a lot of effort into this video, so if you want to give it a like, it helps a lot. So what is the item? It is Blade of the Ruined King. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, that's right. Some of you guys are going to be a little bit confused, so let me elaborate. Blade of the Ruined King does damage based on your current HP. If you have max HP, I'm going to take a lot of damage. If I'm low HP, 9% of low HP is not a lot. So why is this important regarding the shielding? If I'm facing a Yone, in lane, he has a Blade of the Ruined King, and I want to win the 1v1, I'm gonna shield last second. Because his Blade of the Ruined King is gonna be useless. If I shield when I'm at full HP, he's gonna go right through it. Because the way it works is shield does not count as HP. So even when you're like, when you shield yourself to like near full HP, it doesn't count. The Blade of the Ruined King is not going to do bonus damage based on that shield. So that's why during particular scenarios, in a 1v1 against an enemy champion that does damage based on your current HP, think about Viego, think about whatever it is, like current HP damage, so Blade of the Ruined King as well. You actually want, if you're lower HP, if you're sitting at like 40-50% HP, you want to wait until you're like even lower to shield. Especially early on in the game, because the shield cooldown is going to be significantly longer since I'm full build right now. So obviously the shield cooldown is quite low, but especially lower earlier game, when your shield cooldown is a lot longer, you actually want to save it until last second sometimes to bait enemies. Who's that sound? It was like a random phone. Or to counter a Blade of the Ruined King. So let's talk about the main combo, which is essentially similar as the combo I showed you earlier. So ult, third ability, basic attack, first ability, second ability, basic attack, and then you want to just keep fighting that enemy. That's like the main combo, and honestly those are just simply the main combos that you want to do with him. Also, let's talk about the ultimate. I have some major tips about the ultimate. So first things first. Obviously the ultimate is good to isolate an enemy, right? Like think about it, I can isolate him, very very good, very very nice, whatever. So a few things to note about the ult. As you can see, when I use it like this, you can see the circle appears in a different place. The circle will appear based on where you are positioned around the enemy. So if I'm positioned all the way here, it's gonna allow him to run away a little bit more easily towards this side. When I'm positioned here, you can see it puts it closer to this side. But it's a very weird, it works in a very weird way, where like if I'm positioned here or here, you can see it makes a massive difference. Like if you're behind him here, if you're south, it gives him a lot more space north. If you're north, it gives him a lot more space south. Very weird, very, like you have to understand how it works. If I'm east, it gives him more side west. If I'm west, it gives him more side there. But if I'm all the way west, it doesn't. So very weird way of doing things, but for you to learn something about it that can be important. If I want to keep this dummy away from the Herald, let's say this is the jungler, and I know that if I ult him here from north, it's not going to give him any space, right? What am I going to do? Am I going to ult him like this? If I ult him like this, he can still go for it. Not for the Herald itself, because obviously like nothing enters the realm. What I'm trying to say is he cannot enter over here after. Like I had to elaborate it a little bit correctly. So after your ult, he's not gonna be able to be immediately in the close proximity of the Herald or Baron or whatever it is. So you can, for example, flash ult like this. So like after the ult, he's not gonna be in the immediate proximity of whatever you want them to be. Now obviously this dummy still will, but like this one, for example, if I ult him like this, he can walk all the way here, and then immediately, boom, smite the Baron. But if I ult him like this, he can only run here, right? And then when he enters the Baron pit, he's gonna be a little late, like, oh, wait a minute. So like that's a way where, like, for example, you could actually flash ult an enemy like this and be very toxic. Something else important to notice about the ultimate is, of course, you can use it on an important enemy, but like one tip that I have for you too is, let's say there's this enemy over here. Okay, you may be thinking, if I ult him, I cannot reach him, right? Like, why would I ever want to ult him like this? The answer is, look, you cannot really leave the Baron pit when you ult an enemy like this. You can't. So you can see, you can only walk down here. So for example, if you know your team is close by, your ult lasts 7 seconds. If you can catch an enemy like this, your team will have 7 seconds to move over, move over, move over, move over. Well, I cannot because of course I'm in my own ultimate, but they'll have 7 seconds to kill him. He cannot run away from here. So you can sort of put them in prison with your ultimate too. It's not generally the best way to use your ultimate, obviously, because generally you want to use the ultimate to fight an enemy, right? But you can actually use it in that way as well, where you can put them in prison. You can put an enemy in prison. I've told you guys everything. Yeah, I have told you guys everything. So yeah, just one more thing, like very small. Of course, when the jungler is approaching, you can just boom ult the jungler. I told you guys about that already. But for this to be good, you really have to ult the jungler from super far away. Like, let's say this is the jungler, my team is taking the Baron. I can just ult him here, fight him, keep him busy, blah, blah, blah. Like, my team has 7 seconds to secure the Baron. So now let's get to the build part and all of that. This video is turning into a very long video, by the way, because I have so much to say. I can put this away now. Let's talk about the build. This is very important as well. So there's a few notes about the build. You need armor boots or magic resist boots. One of the two. You don't really want to go Moods of Mana. He doesn't have any mana, so it's not worth the investment into these boots. So Ryla's Scepter. Ryla's Scepter is a situational item. I only recommend it against like long-ranged enemies. If there's a lot of long-ranged enemies, you're gonna go Ryla's Scepter. Otherwise, you're gonna start with a Rift Maker. Psychic Projector is very, very good as well. It just works very well, very good with this kit. If you're against a ton of tanks, you can go Leandris for your passive. Generally not the best item, however. Against a lot of tanks, that's only if you need damage. Against a lot of tanks, I generally recommend sticking with these two items and going full tank. So like this, Thornmill, etc, etc. You want to go like giga tanky on Mordekaiser. But against a bit of a squishier opponent, you may want to get the Ryla's Scepter. Don't go Rabadon's Death Cap, it's just not really worth it. He doesn't really need that much AP. And then here you want to get Stasis. Your passive still remains intact when you use Stasis, so that's like the AoE damage around you. So Stasis is going to be very, very good for Aatrox. For the runes, always Conqueror. The most important rune in the game for him is going to be Conqueror. Over here, I prefer the Precision tree, sorry, not the Precision tree, the Resolve tree. You go Nullifying Orb, Bone Plating, and Overgrowth. Overgrowth makes you very tanky late game, and this is just going to be good in the laning matchup. Giant Slayer, because you're likely going to be against giants in the lane. And for the spells, you go Ignite and Flash. So that's going to be it. Again, reminder, check out the PlayervsFitness. The link is going to be below. Fill in the form. Trust me. So many people have already changed their lives, transformed everything, gotten super muscular, skinny, whatever your goal may be. Check it out yourself, reach out to me, or sorry, fill it in, I'll reach out to you. I'll speak to some of you guys very, very soon in a meeting. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye-bye.